Markham. Starring Ray Milland.
Suavecito, suavecito, suavecito. It's the way I like to dance the cha-cha-cha. Suavecito, suavecito, suavecito. Suavecito means my darling, not so tight. Suavecito, suavecito, suavecito. It's the way I like to dance the cha-cha-cha. Suavecito, suavecito, suavecito. Suavecito means my darling, not so tight. Suavecito, senor, suavecito. Suavecito, let's dance cha-cha-cha. Suavecito, mi amor, suavecito. Suavecito, let's dance the cha-cha-cha. Suavecito, suavecito, suavecito. It's the way I like to dance the cha-cha-cha. Suavecito, suavecito, suavecito. Suavecito means my darling, not so tight. Suavecito, senor, suavecito. Suavecito, senor, suavecito. Suavecito, senor, suavecito. Suavecito, I like to dance the cha-cha-cha.
Leo Curlin's Casa Mambo was one of the better supper clubs. I'd watched Leo build it up from a hole in the wall. It featured good food and a terrific headliner in Lupe Amoroso. I was sitting there pondering the talents of Lupe when I recognized the man she was berating at the edge of the dance floor. It was Charlie Russell, the manager of the club. With him was a creamy blonde, the kind you'd like to take home to mother. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
Oh, Roy, how are you? Oh, Elsie, this is Roy Markham. He's a private detective. Miss Jones.
Elsie Jones?
She's from my hometown.
Corn City.
Corn City.
Just out of Omaha.
Outside of Omaha. Well, why don't we sit down? Maybe we can snaffle a waiter or
Well,
something.
just for a minute, Roy.
I studied singing in ballet. And when I came to New York and looked up Charlie, he introduced me to Mr. Curlin.
I see.
Mr. Curlin's going to put me on just as soon as I learn the routine.
Isn't that Leo's routine, Charlie?
Roy, I just work here. He does the hiring.
Oh, Mr. Curlin's been awfully nice. And I do so want to get on.
Where'd you get the mouse?
Mouse?
The eye.
Not Leo.
Oh, no.
Lupe. Lupe Amoroso.
Please, Charlie.
Well, Lupe does play a little rough.
Do you know her?
Oh, we've met once at a party.
Well, she considers Leo her private preserve. No poaching.
When did it happen?
Tonight? Oh, she just saw me talking to Mr. Curlin, that's all. She threatened, even said she'd kill me if I didn't go away.
Well, of course, knowing Lupe, she just may not be kidding. You know, she shot her first husband.
Did you say shot?
Good for a lot of publicity and about 60 days in the sneeze, huh? But Lupe's jealousy sometimes gets out of hand. And Charlie, I think you ought to speak to Miss Amoroso.
Oh, she wouldn't listen to me. I'm the one who introduced Elsie to Leo.
Did she kill him?
No, not because you didn't try. It just shows that her aim is as bad as her temper.
Look, Roy, we really do have to get going. I'm going to put Elsie in a cab for home, then I have to come back and get to work on the nice receipts.
All right.
Mr. Markham, I just don't know what to do. Charlie says you're a detective. You know how to handle these things.
Elsie, don't bother Roy with
All
this.
my life, I've waited for a chance in show business. She was just angry. I don't think she really meant to hurt me.
Well, you see, I hardly know the lady.
Well, that's right. He said he only met her once at a party. Now, come on.
Oh, but I'm sure you could persuade Miss Amorosa that my only interest was in furthering my career. Oh, please, Mr. Markham. I'd be so grateful. I don't want Miss Amorosa to think that Leo and I would...
Well, the only trouble with that is that Miss Amoroso knows Leo. But I will try to reason with her if that'll help. Good night.
Good night.
I'll see you later, huh, Roy?
Mire cómo fui amoroso. Puerco, please, please.
Okay, Lucy, okay, calm
Don't you believe her again. You get her out of here, understand?
Okay, I will.
What's the spirit there, Leo?
I'm afraid so. If you're going in there, you better have your brass knuckles, boy.
Come in, come in. Well, what do you want?
You don't remember. My name is Markham. Roy Markham?
Not the Roy Markham.
Yes.
Never heard of you.
Ah. Well, I really wanted to compliment you on your performance, Miss Amoroso.
Thanks and good night.
Yes. Oh, there was one other thing.
Now what?
I wanted to tell you to lay off Elsie Jones.
Elsie? You mean that maraschino cherub who's been hanging around Leo? Since when did she have a friend?
Since this evening, when she showed me her eye. Now, you keep your hands to yourself while you'll explain it to a judge.
Will you tell little Miss Marshmallow that if I ever catch you with Leo again, I'll really scratch your eyes out?
You're on record, Miss Amoroso. If anything happens to Elsie again, you'll be picked up.
Case any good keyholes lately, Peeper?
Hello, Conroy. When did you get out?
Now, Markham, you know I haven't been in trouble since my drain choked up and I was caught with a bathtub full of gin.
You know, I wondered what you did with the bathtub.
Oh, you're a droll one. You will excuse me, Markham.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Running into Brady Conroy, big-time Broadway bookie, was only one surprise in an evening filled with surprises.
Mr. Markham?
I thought you went home.
Oh, I got out of the cab at the corner and walked back. I just had to see you, Mr. Markham. Have you spoken to Miss Amorosa
She
yet?
won't bother you anymore.
Really, Mr. Markham, I do appreciate your taking an interest, but I want you to forget the whole thing.
What?
I mean it, Mr. Markham. I don't want to cause any trouble for Charlie. Loopy could have him fired just like that.
That's fine. You get kicked around, you come to me for help, I help you, now you tell me to forget the whole thing.
It isn't that I'm not grateful.
Never mind. I was never any good at this Boy Scout business anyway. The last time I helped a lady across the street, I got knocked down by the guy trying to pick her up. So goodbye, adieu, auf Wiedersehen, and if you get work, please write to me. Jones was charged with this murder. Without waiting to shave, I hustled over to the tombs and called on Sergeant Al Bryan. I wanted to talk to his prisoner.
Come in.
Hello, Al.
Hey, Roy. What are you doing around here?
I hear you're holding a girl named Elsie Jones in connection with this Leo Curlin murder.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you mind if I speak to her?
Is she a friend of yours?
No, but she's a friend of a friend.
Why do you want to talk to her? She's guilty.
I'd like to hear her story.
I've got it right here, black and white.
Well, I'd like to hear it from her herself, if you don't mind.
I don't care, but I'll tell you this, you're wasting your time.
No, it's my time.
Your time.
All right. Elsie looked like anything but a killer. A little girl who'd lost her bubblegum, maybe, but not a killer.
Mr. Markham. Mr. Markham. Oh, Mr. Markham.
All right, honey. All right, take it easy. Take it easy. Now, just sit down. Here. Use this. Now, tell me.
I told them exactly what happened.
I know, but I was asleep, so go over it again and make it short.
Well, after I saw you, I talked to Morris. He's the head waiter. And then I went to Leo. I mean, Mr. Curlin's office.
Did you see anyone come out of the office?
We've already asked her that, Roy.
I'm sure you did. Go on.
No, nobody. I just went up to the door, knocked, and then I heard the shot.
Shot?
Then she ran into the office, found Leo curled up with a bad case of death.
Would you mind your own business?
This is my business, Roy.
And then I did a stupid thing.
Well, outside of messing around with Leo, what was that?
Well, I saw this little gun sticking out.
Sticking out?
From under Leo, she says.
So I picked it up.
Oh, bravo. Yes, that was a stupid thing.
I know.
Well, go on.
That's all. Then Loopy and Charlie and the others came running in, and the next thing I knew, I was here. In jail.
Any prints?
Plenty. All Elsie's.
All right, Elsie. Did you shoot him?
Oh, Mr. Markham.
How could you?
Look, if I'm going to be of any help, I've got to know. Well?
Of course I didn't shoot anybody.
She had no motive. He was going to give her a job.
Was he? Leo had more arms than an octopus, didn't he, Elsie?
Oh, Mr. Markham, what am I going to do?
Don't you worry, sweetheart.
Oh, please help me.
I'll have you out of here somehow. But just
I
don't
don't
worry
know
about
what
it.
my mother's going to say, Mr. Markham.
I know, but you
Oh,
just
don't
sit...
go away yet, Mr.
You
Markham.
just sit down here and just know that I'll have you out within 24 hours. You have all the faith in the world in me.
Hi, Roy. I've been waiting for you. Your cleaning woman let me in. I just had to talk to somebody.
Oh? About what, Leo?
Elsie didn't shoot him.
How do you know?
Well, she couldn't have. She just doesn't have it in her to kill.
Charlie, that sort of intuition can be fatal. Sit down.
Well, Loopy's different.
Ah, there we agree on something.
Well, she told Leo she'd kill him if he didn't leave Elsie alone.
And did he?
Elsie's a girl, isn't she? Did you know it was Loopy's gun?
The police said they couldn't trace it.
That's right. I got it for her. Leo said she ought to have some protection. It was Leo who needed the protection.
Where'd you get the gun?
Well, from a guy I know. And she was in the room when I got there.
Who, Loopy?
Yeah, when I ran into the room, she was already there, standing, just looking at Elsie.
Did you see Conroy last night?
Yeah, he was around. Lately, he's always around.
Why?
To press Leo for his money. Leo was into him for $30,000.
How come? Horses?
Horses and dames. Leo could never pick a winner.
Well, he finished out of the money again. He finished last. Dead last, you might say. I'm going to fix a drink. You own?
Yeah, please.
I decided to look up Brady Conroy. He was a health faddist. Organic foods, vitamins. He mixed clean living with a dirty mind. I knew where I could find him. A small private steam room in the 50s.
I'll take 20 minutes, then tell Packy to get ready for rubdown. Well, if it isn't the Seamus with the broad A.
Oh, Conroy, you kill me.
Don't tempt me, Markham.
You know, you sound tough. I don't think you are. I think it's just talk.
You don't say.
What would you take to kill a man?
Make me an offer.
30,000?
I made my statement to the police. That's all I have to say.
Leo Curlin owed you $30,000.
You say it. Prove it.
Did you put the squeeze on Leo?
It's none of your business.
Charlie Russell says he heard you threaten him.
You know better than that, Markham. That mouse killed Leo.
I don't think she did.
Well, why would I bump him off? He owed me 30 grand. Charlie didn't lie.
Hey, I'm being boiled alive. Get me out of here.
Lupe Amoroso was packing his place. There was no reason why he couldn't pay off.
But he couldn't. He didn't have the cash.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Help, Eddie! Eddie! Get me out of this thing, stupid! Get me out of here!
I left Conroy to stew in his own juice, and I went over to see Al Bryan. I told him about Lupe's gun and the 30,000 Leo owed the bookie. Then I asked to see the Casa Mambo's books that had been impounded the night of the killing. Pretty dull at first, but they told quite a story if you read between the lines. I wanted to talk to Lupe once more. The Casa Mambo was closed, but the officer at the door said she was in her dressing room picking up her things. Nothing is as lonely as a deserted nightclub. Empty, the Casa Mambo took on a sort of dignity. One last tribute to its departed owner. Moving out? Why didn't you tell the police it was your gun that killed Leo?
What are you talking about?
It was your gun, wasn't it?
Who told you? Charlie. It must have been Charlie. He was the only one besides Leo who knew I had it. Or did have it.
What do you mean, did have it?
I kept the gun in my dressing table drawer. It was stolen several weeks ago.
And you haven't seen it since?
No.
That's interesting. One other thing. Who else was there when you found Elsie with the gun?
Nobody except Charlie. He came in right behind me. You see, I had this note from Leo.
You didn't tell the police anything, did you?
Why should I? I didn't kill Leo. That girl did. She ought to get everything that's coming to her.
What'd the note say?
Leo asked me to come see him.
How'd you get it?
I was changing. The door was locked. He pushed it under.
I see. Well, thank you, Miss Amoroso. You've been very helpful.
But I had no reason to shoot Mr. Curlin. He was going to give me a break. Now I'm right back where I started.
Not quite, Elsie. Now, look. You stood outside the door, you heard a shot, you rushed in, and you found Leo dead.
That's right.
And you were alone in the room.
Yes.
You picked up the gun. And what happened then?
I don't know. I turned around and there was Lupe. And then Charlie.
But there's only one door to that office. If you didn't shoot Leo, where did the murderer go?
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that I didn't shoot Mr. Curlin.
Well, we know about that in a few moments.
How?
You remember that test they gave you at the crime lab?
Yes.
If there were no powder burns on your hands, you're in the clear.
Oh, Mr. Markham.
All right.
Oh, Mr. Markham.
The pieces were beginning to fall into place. I made several phone calls to arrange a meeting at the Casa Mambo. Then I left for the club to see if I could find the one last bit of evidence I needed before the others arrived.
Peeper, your nerves are shot. You want a tranquilizer?
Never mind. Don't you have a knock?
Tender knuckles.
What's this all about?
I came in here to get Leo's murderer.
I thought she was in jail.
The killer is here in the club.
How'd she get out of the cooler?
What's she doing here?
The boys down in the lab say she didn't do it. No powder burns on the hands at all.
Are you trying to say I had something to do with the killing?
Look, let me explain something.
You'd better.
Let's consider, who had the best reason to do away with Leo?
She did. She had the gun.
But she had no motive.
At least you were angry with him.
She's angry at everybody.
And you. Leo owed you $30,000.
Don't be a jerk. How could I collect from a dead man?
Then who, Mr. Markham?
Well, obviously someone who was afraid of Leo. And someone who wanted to put the blame on you.
Me?
Look, you got a note to come and see Leo. The killer knew this, so he got here ahead of you. He heard a knock. So he shot Leo, dropped the gun on the floor, and ducked behind the door. The door opens, and Elsie comes in, followed by you. Your backs were turned, so you thought he came through the door. But he didn't. He came from behind the door.
It's very clever, Roy. I knew you'd put it all together sooner or later.
That's why you told Elsie here to keep me away from Loopy.
I knew you'd get involved with Leo, and there'd go the whole schmear.
But why did you kill Leo?
Because he caught on to double-entry bookkeeping, didn't he, Charlie?
Oh, you are sharp, Markham. When Conroy put the arm on Leo for his money, he came to me for the cash.
And when he saw the books, he got kind of mad, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty upset.
Where's the money?
Put away in a box with a number.
In the shadow of an Alp?
Could be. You know, it's a shame things didn't work out. If Elsie just hadn't walked in at the wrong time.
You tried to frame me.
Well, the best laid plans, you know.
All right, Charlie, where are they?
Where what?
The other set of books. Roy knows an awful lot about accounting. Well, so long as you're all coming with me to Canada, I might as well show you.
Canada.
Chartered airplane. You can get me past the cops and drive me to the airport. In fact, we'll all go. Sort of a going-away party for good old Charlie, huh? When they put in the new unit, they left the old one here. All right, let's get going. I told the pilot we'd take off at 10. And after all, half the fun is in getting there, huh? That's Mark. Zurich.
Staatsbank Zurich, account number 100792. Thank you, Loopy. That was a brave thing to do. All right, Elsie, I'll get you a taxi. Little Elsie Jones of Corn City would soon be back on the town. Being stage-struck, she'd probably give show business another whirl, and this time, perhaps, she'd try to make it on her own. Maybe she'd learn that there are no shortcuts to stardom.